Good morning, everyone. I haven't actually done an actual live video in a while. I've done some speed draw paints and stuff and posted them up. Excuse me. And stuff. So I've been really busy with a lot of commissions off of Amino. So I have all of those finally completed. I have one. I'm not sure if the person has sent money yet because they didn't have PayPal, so they had to send it through regular mail. So not the money, the payment for the piece hasn't got here yet. So if that doesn't get here, then I'll have that original back up for resale along with two others. I'd actually like to sell the bundled pack together if the other one doesn't if the other one does not get picked up by the commissioner. But I will have two traditional pieces for sale. I have some more traditional pre-mades for sale that are upstairs, but these are ones I made here like within the last couple days. I just can't keep all the artwork I create. Some of it's going to have to find new homes. Today I figure I'd just do like a little sketching session, just to play around. I don't know how good this is going to go or be because I am on a borderline of having an art block. It's just where I've just done so much in the last couple weeks that I've kind of, I don't know, lost my confidence with my art or something, where I've just done so much. This is a Faber-Castell eraser, which does pretty good with these, I hate, which is the mechanical pencil. But don't want to constantly have to sharpen my Ticonderoga to a fine point to get little tiny small details. Yes, that is Adelaide in the background, squalling her head off because she doesn't like being in a cage, but she'll get over it because that's life. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to sketch this morning. I had kind of a vague idea if I quit putting unnecessary pencil marks on the paper. Not like most artists, I don't sit here and sketch, play around with ideas. I don't thumbnail. I don't do warm-up sketches. I don't do any of that. I just, I know a lot of artists who do that. That's cool. It's fine. And I envy people who can sit there and do that. I've just never been one of those artists that can sit down and just slam the ideas out like that and in that way and such. It's just not ever been how I've done my artwork or anything like that. So I can envy people who can fill a sketchbook and make it look nice, cohesive. Mine just never do. It's just the way it is. I'm not really sure what I'm going to attempt to draw. Like I said, I had an idea here before I sat down and started filming, and now it's just like the idea has left me, which is not good. Which is really not good. If all else fails, I'll just look on Pinterest for like reference or something. I rarely use references, and if I do, it's very loose. I don't like look and go verbatim unless I'm doing like a portrait, which I did go verbatim on one photo I found on Pinterest, which was a free photography shot of a red fox, and I was using it to test out my Sakura Koi watercolor set that I had got for a really nice, decent price off of eBay. And they are so much more pigmented than what I'm used to using. They are so different than what I'm used to using. And so I wanted to practice with them, which I didn't use the right kind of paper to practice with them because I used Bristol paper for it, which is not the best candidate for watercolors because it buckles bad. But I was just trying to get used to the pigment of those watercolors. They're so bright. And they are so nice because, like, a little of them goes a really long way. And they just nice coverage. And Adelaide hasn't shut up yet. She'll probably squall for a while. It's really annoying. I wish she'd stop that. She knows when she's in the crate that it's irrelevant to sit there and just squall her head off. But yes, she does it because you think as much as she's been crated, she'd understand what that means. But she's a cat, so they don't understand much. I've learned with cats, they don't understand and comprehend the same as dogs do. She just thinks that she gets her way all the time, and it's not the case. Because when she's loose, all she does is get into stuff continuously, constantly. She never sits still. She's always into something, tearing something up. She's a pain in the hind end sometimes. But she is only a year old, so she's still kind of kitten-fied, I guess. I'm hoping she gets out of that mischievousness because it's really annoying. Like, no cat I know gets into stuff as much as Adelaide. Adelaide is continuously in stuff all the time, constantly getting into trouble, doing the same things that she gets yelled at for, and she still does it. It's like she doesn't learn. But like I said, she's a cat. They're very stubborn anyway, so they don't learn like dogs do. But she's pretty smart, but she's still a little butthole. I'm not really a cat person. I just kind of ended up with her. Personally, don't really like cats much. But she's pretty different. The only problem I have with her is being into everything and that meowing. That's the only bad thing really I have about her, because everything else she does pretty good on. I'm trying to look for an idea here. I actually look at something that sparked me to have a good inspiration, and I can't find the image that sparks the inspiration. I can't talk shit. Hush, Addie, please. Not going to sit here and film and have a cat meow all the time, all the way through it. Nobody wants to hear that. I'm sorry. I may have to scrap this video and start over. Actually, it's probably not a bad idea. Yeah, I've already got an audience, so it doesn't matter. I'll just keep rolling it. It's early. But if the cells on the lip balm were those of Dr. Why did the DNA from probably why my brain's not firing on all cylinders. Like, I found something here that inspired me really good, and now I can't find it. It was a photo. It was actually the position of the photo. It wasn't really what was in the photo. It was just like the stance and the pose of it that was kind of inspiring. So, we'll see here. I haven't decided if I'm going to do something kind of stylized or if I'm going to lean more to semi-realistic. I'm not going to do full realism because that takes a while. All of this pressure prompted Dr. Schneeberger to agree to yet another DNA test. This time, the procedure was videoed. I'm just kind of looking at poses to kind of get an idea for a pose that interests and sparks my... I'm not finding the one that kind of inspired me, which kind of sucks. Can't find it. Crap. Since this is a voluntary test, might just have to sit here and just see what hits the paper. Those are usually pretty fun when you just go in and let pencil hit the paper. I have some of my best work that happens that way. So I don't know why that would ever change.
She tries another tube, but still
Let's
has
see
trouble.
if I can't find what inspired me earlier.
Eventually, she was able to extract a sample.
Damn.
Afterwards, the nurse was puzzled.
I love when I can't find what it was. I know I'm overlooking it because who be?
And the lab determined that the sample was too degraded for DNA testing. Police broke the
Shit.
news to Candy.
And I'm like, oh my God.
If I have to say such a
whatever,
word.
like, that's bull. This is our last chance to get blood from him. And you guys screwed up again.
Even the police were suspicious when DNA from Dr. Schneeberger's
Well, that's
farm
interesting because now I
matched the
can't find what
DNA from
inspired me.
Candy's rape test kit. But since Dr.
Fantastic.
Schneeberger had passed 2 prior blood
That
DNA
just makes me
tests,
so happy.
officials were hesitant to charge him.
Not
Because
really.
of his
I'm being
submitting
I'm exaggerating.
DNA sample.
Eh, there's a photo, I know that.
There's a DNA sample.
Seeing a lot of art pop up here on the feed. I don't want to be inspired by somebody else's art.
Limited as it was.
I know it was a photo, like an actual photo.
But we believed in the DNA.
Just can't find which one it was.
We believed in the science of DNA.
I do keep some reference poses to canines on my Pinterest to refer back to, because some poses are kind of hard to draw from memory. I'm not even gonna lie on that. It's just,
On April 25th, 1997,
and sometimes it helps if you just
5 years after
look
the
and glance
alleged
at it,
police
and
outbreak,
it gives you a good
startling
idea
information was discovered inside
of
the
what that
doctor's
pose should
own
look like.
home.
Oh, that looks interesting. Don't know if I can do that,
Schneeberger's stepdaughter, his wife's biological
but I
child,
like the
claimed
picture.
that the doctor assaulted her too.
It's very dynamic and dramatic.
For several years, the youngster says her stepfather had been coming
I like
into her
that
room
photo.
at night and giving her injections.
I may have to pin that one to my board. What's this one?
His
Oh,
wife
this is just
discovered
the jump.
a box full of condoms,
I'm gonna save that
needles,
one
and
to my
drugs,
photos,
including
my
Versed,
stock
in the
photos.
doctor's home office.
I blame myself. I still blame
I
myself.
may have to. God,
I screamed.
it.
I bawled.
excuse my language.
I was pretty disgusted because all of these years.
Sitting here
I mean,
hitting the
fighting to
X
get
and
the
the
truth out, but
Pinterest
also
is being a
to
crud
make
ball.
sure that it didn't happen to anybody else.
Not wanting to X out of
Dr.
the.
John Schneeberger
Damn
was
it.
arrested and ordered to undergo
You
yet
know what? I'll
another
close you out
DNA
if you want to be
test.
stupid and not listen to me.
Again,
Sometimes I hate
the
Pinterest
procedure
app.
was
Sometimes I hate it so terribly bad. Like I love it, but at the same time I hate it. Makes any
Police took
sense.
several samples, hair, saliva, then
Hmm.
blood.
I really like the dynamic pose. It's a good thing I saved it because when I accidentally clicked and it opened that website, it wouldn't let me close out of it for some reason. The app wouldn't. I sat there and was hitting the X, hitting the X, hitting the X, and it wouldn't close it. So I don't know what the heck was up with that.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Like I said, it's a good thing I saved it. So I'm going to save this image to my phone so I don't have to try to pull it up big on Pinterest, because when I tried to do that, it took me to the website and I didn't want to go to the website. So I'll just put it on my personal phone here, and I just want to use the basic of the pose. So right now here I get sketching. I'm going to have to do my line work here kind of light, and I need to stay away from the edges. That way I have plenty of room, because there's a lot. My sketches are very rough, the roughest things you'll ever see in your life, and they really don't make a whole lot of sense, because they don't make a whole lot of sense to me either. It does in my head, but it doesn't on paper. That makes any sense whatsoever. It's just a guideline. So I think that a guideline shouldn't really have to be too awful.
He said he surgically inserted a plastic tube under the skin into his left arm, filled with blood from one of his
I just
patients.
put where things need to be
This
going,
is
and
why he insisted that the blood be drawn from his left arm rather than
of course, as
anywhere
an
else.
artist, I can change things up if I want
If you
to. I
look
don't have to go
closely at the
exactly by the
videotape of that blood test,
picture I'm
you'll
looking at.
see
It's just
that
a
the doctor is careful to
little
pull
bit
his
of an
sleeve
inspiration,
only so
and
high so as not to reveal the incision where he inserted
so I
the
totally
tube.
jacked that up.
And for a brief moment, you can see the tube protruding from his arm.
You can make it more fluid
But
and
by the time
make the
third
motion
test
more
was done,
fluid. You can actually change
5
anything
years
you want
after
about it.
the
It doesn't have to look
accusation,
identical to the
blood in
photograph,
tube was old and dark,
which I don't want it
which
to look like the
explains
photograph.
why
I'm just using it for the pose. I ain't doing a portrait drawing here, so.
However, denied raping Candy. He claims Candy broke into his home, stole a used condom, and used that biological sample to frame him.
But when you start changing things on
He said he used his
a
patient's
pose
blood
that you're
for the DNA
referencing,
test because he had no
it's
other way
easy to get
defend
stuff
himself.
to where you get it out of proportion, just like I'm doing there. The head needs to be a little smaller.
Stole samples or whatever. It was laughable. It was absolutely laughable that he had to grasp at straws like that. It's just laughable. I was a bulldog on the stand. I kicked his lawyer's ass. And he's supposed to be the best lawyer in southern Saskatchewan, best defense lawyer. I showed him who was boss.
You run across strong-willed individuals. Sometimes
I ain't
strong-willed
liking the head.
individuals are right, and sometimes they're wrong. And this particular
It's
strong-willed
probably because
was right.
some parts of this isn't really.
She was determined to see that what happened to her didn't happen.
I'm not really sure how I want the head to be, how I want the head to be angled.
The most bizarre, the most involved, and involving all forensic evidence here.
This may not turn out right, but you know, it is whatever.
Dr. Schneeberger was
Probably needs to go
found
down a little bit.
guilty of sexually assaulting Candy as well as drugging her and obstructing justice. He was also convicted of sexually assaulting his stepdaughter and was sentenced to 6 years in prison.
Kind of weird.
I'm so proud of Ken. If it was me, I don't know if I could handle the whole everything that she went through. It's just the test came back negative and she had to fight, and it was just a constant battle.
While taping this interview, Candy received a telephone call in which she learned Dr. Schneeberger had been denied parole.
I won again! That's so exciting. He lost. He lost both of his chances to get out for day parole and full parole. Oh my God. Isn't that great? Woohoo! Anyway, I was so worried that he was going to get out and everybody was going to fall for his lies and bullshit again, but they didn't. They didn't. They're smarter than the rest. Oh my God. Do you guys know how exciting this is for me? It's like celebration.
You have to remember that the DNA also led us off the path. So when I lecture on this particular case to younger police officers, I say to them, remember the DNA does give you something, but it has to be supported with cooperative evidence. It was very frustrating not being able to have all the answers, but it finally did come together after 7 years and 24 days.
Hey, working with a pose, it's a little difficult. Plus, you're changing the positioning of the animal entirely. I'm pretty sure this is like I loosely referenced it, which it's more facing towards the audience, and some things here will have to be moved. Obviously, I have to tweak it. I'm not perfect. Back end may need to be elongated. God, I think I got his bum too close to his front legs, or its front legs. Well, I liked how those legs looked. They were a little bit too close to them.
She switched off the TV and turned in for the night. Soon afterward, the Mowbrays' lives were changed forever.
Susie said she heard a noise and woke up to see her husband's elbow pointing upward into the air. Seconds later, she heard a loud explosion. She leapt out of bed and found him bleeding profusely. A pistol
I
lay near his
hate
head.
mechanical
She said
pencils.
she pulled it away and dropped it. It landed.
I just hate how they draw. I know a lot of people love how they draw and how they do.
Her
I'm
first
not a
call
fan.
was to one of her husband's co-workers. He did it, she told him. He shot himself.
My husband, after threatening suicide for at least 3 years, almost on a weekly basis, finally did it. And the worst
Not a fan of that leg.
anyone.
Let's redo that.
After telling the co-worker what happened, Susie Mowbray then called 911. Homicide investigator George Gavito
I don't
was
like
one of
how
the
I
first
had
people
that.
on the scene.
I think I had it flying the other way around. You can get a body too long, I think.
She went in, when the deputies came in, went back to the house, she pointed to the room upstairs where it was.
Paramedics and investigators found Bill Mowbray with blankets pulled up to his neck. He looked as if he were sleeping, except for the massive damage caused by the .357 Magnum.
Yeah, I think I should have left it alone when I had it the way I had it. I'm gonna get mad here in a minute and just rip this out. Making me mad. Very mad. This is why I don't draw when I have an art block. It's just I can't get anything to look cohesive and look right, and it's irritating.
Was a contact wound. The gun barrel had been placed directly against Bill Mowbray's head. As the bullet exited
And where I'm drawing with a mechanical pencil, I feel like I'm.
which was apparently resting under his
Doesn't matter
head.
how many times I erase, I'm still going over the same fracking lines.
Had his left hand bracing his head, that was a plausible theory at that point. Or somebody else shot him while he was lying or perhaps sleeping on his left hand.
Brownsville residents were shocked to learn that one of their most high-profile residents had apparently killed himself. Bill Mowbray ran a local Cadillac dealership and was well known in town. But the dealership had fallen on hard times. Bill was deeply in debt and was being investigated for alleged tax fraud.
He was fairly desperate. He had gone to the bank.
I liked how I had the leg done before. I don't like how the legs are turning out now.
You don't loan me $200,000.
This is irritating. I probably should have just had a sketch going before I started this video and
It
just
looked as if Bill
detailed
Mowbray had
that out
gone
instead of
for
trying to draw something from scratch.
Investigators weren't so sure.
Because nothing looks good or cohesive on this. I'm about to just just erase it all.
It was physically impossible for him to have shot himself. They were convinced.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna
Death was not
erase this piece of shit.
At 39,
That's making me
Susie
mad.
Mowbray was attractive, personable, and an asset to her husband Bill's business. The two, both coming off divorces, had met 9 years earlier and married soon afterward. They lived the good life, a beautiful home, exotic vacations, condos at the beach. For Bill Mowbray, money was no object.
My brother did have a tendency to spend a lot of money. He did like good things. When he would get involved in any kind of a hobby, he would get involved completely.
But Bill was having serious money problems. He was overextended on his business and in trouble with the IRS. He was also cheating on his wife.
People knew they were separating. Bill was going out with someone else, and Susie had found out about it too. She found a couple of glasses of champagne in the bed when she had come back and questioned the maid about it, and the maid had confirmed that Bill was going out with someone.
On the day before his death, Susie discovered that Bill had made changes to their insurance policies. She found that within days, the current policy would be canceled. and Bill's daughter would become the main beneficiary of new policies worth almost $2 million. For police, this signaled a possible motive for murder.
We got the 2-year suicide policies in Texas. If you buy an insurance policy, you have to wait 2 years before you commit suicide. And you just buy and commit suicide, of course, it doesn't pay off. And in the new insurance model, to begin with, she wasn't going to receive any money, so she had to make a move, and she had to make it quick.
Susie's actions just after Bill's death also aroused suspicions. Bill's brother Jim went to the house just hours after Bill's body had been removed.
I'd been told that he had killed himself in his bedroom, which was up a set of stairs. And as I got closer and closer, I started hearing music and people laughing and stuff up in the bedroom. And I was taken by that. And about that moment, Susie popped out in front of me. And my first words to her were, "What's going on?" And she said, "We're having a painting party." And I was dumbfounded. At this point, it's rather inappropriate considering
Everything had been taken out of the room. All the furniture, even the carpet, was gone. But for police, the unusual position of Bill Mowbray's body provided clear indications of foul play. When a high-powered gun is fired at close range into someone's head, it creates what is called blowback. Basically, the force of the blast blows brain and blood matter back onto the hand and arm of the shooter. Bill Mowbray would have had to shoot himself with his right hand, since his left hand clearly contained an exit wound. But his right hand was lying at his side and was virtually free of blood.
there was a very minimal amount of blood smeared about the right arm and hand, but no spatter. To me, this indicated that it was extremely unlikely that he could have been holding the gun when the shot was fired. At that point, then, I reached the conclusion that this individual could not have shot himself.
In addition, his right hand was under the covers. It seemed impossible that he could have fired a bullet.
I had my
into his
basic
head and
idea
then
there.
pulled the covers
Took
back
me
over
long enough,
himself
right?
all the way up
It's
to his
probably
neck.
not perfect, and I'll still tweak it and
Blood
stuff as
analyst
I go.
Sergeant Dusty Heskew said he found
because I don't think
blood
there's
spatter
something
and
that's
traces
right
of
still
lead
on the top.
on the
I have
nightgown
to fix
Susie
it out
Mowbray
somehow.
was wearing when Bill died. All indications
It's
were
just a
that
very
Bill
odd
Mowbray had
pose,
not
and
killed
the pose
himself.
wasn't very clear due to
There was only
the
one other person in
canine
the house
being
that
like
was
jumping
dead,
through
alive,
falling leaves and stuff. So
and she
some
had
of the
a $1.8
pose was obstructed by
million
leaves.
motive to kill him.
Probably wasn't the best picture to use for that kind of
Prosecutor Bill Hagan theorizes
body
Susie
motion,
could have laid next to Bill,
but
and using the
the one I
pillows and
used.
blankets as a barrier between them, fired at point-blank range into his head. He says that despite the barrier, blowback left blood spatter and lead vapors on her gown. These red dots show where Heskew claimed to have found.
But yeah,
blood.
that's where we're at with the sketch.
4 months after
I
Bill's
usually
death,
don't do a start to finish on here, but I might today. I don't know.
I don't think anyone in their right mind
And
would feel
stuff.
confident going into a trial like this. No, that's scary.
After a 3-week trial, Susie Mowbray was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. The jury agreed that it was physically impossible for Bill Mowbray to have shot himself. But as she was sent away, her supporters said they found evidence that she was innocent. The question was whether they would ever get a chance to prove it. In June of 1988, Susie Mowbray was sent to prison to serve a life sentence for the murder of her husband.
I couldn't
Bill.
spell if my life
She
depended on it.
maintained her innocence while attempting to adjust to life behind bars.
I can remember there was this moment of utter just terror
had announced the verdict, and this female officer of some sort is escorting me over to the county jail. And first words out of my mouth, are they going to hurt me? And she said, not unless you give them a reason.
Her supporters, particularly Wade Burnett, her 20-year-old son from a previous marriage, went back to the evidence that was used to convict her, claiming crucial details were misrepresented. He found that prosecutors had not disclosed a report that contradicted their own case. It had been done by Herbert McDonald, a highly regarded blood spatter expert. He had examined the gown Susie Mowbray was wearing when she
I mean, it's
allegedly
bad
shot
not
her
to give me
husband.
notifications sometimes. It's an ass like that.
That garment wasn't anywhere near Bill Mowbray when he was shot. And of course, that would assist the defense and not the prosecution.
McDonald was never called to testify.
Gotta love it.
Instead, the prosecution's other blood analyst, Sergeant Dusty Heskew, testified
This whole
that he
strange little
found
tiny
48
drawing
blood
that takes up the
spatters on
whole
Susie
freaking
Mowbray's
little
gown.
page.
This
It's supposed to have
was
been tiny, so I could like done a lot of
particularly
little doodles on here, but for some reason it like dominates the page. Go figure.
Luminol is a chemical that causes blood to glow, luminesce, even after it has been cleaned.
My phone is a piece of
That
caca.
only lasts for about 30 seconds. Time, Heskew said, to measure all the blood spatters.
This has no rhyme or
This
reason
is a
to it
claim
either. This
dismissed
drawing
by
doesn't.
most
It's
blood
just something to
spatter
do.
experts.
I don't doubt that he saw specks of
Because I very seldom do a start to finish drawing on here. Y'all just usually get to see it being, it's either already sketched and it's being colored, and that's it. You guys usually don't get to see the drawing process, which I do post up my speed drawing paints, but those are done in
There were other
Ibis,
problems. Blood
so
is
they're not in
the
real
only
time.
substance that will glow when in contact with luminol. Certain
And a lot of those have
something
been
like horseradish will also glow.
little PFP
No one
headshots,
doubts that Heskew saw something
because I haven't
glowing
done
on
any
Susie
full
Mowbray's nightgown,
big piece
but
digital
no
arts.
tests were ever
I thought I
performed
was
to
going to
determine
actually
if
have
what
one
he
come
saw
in,
was in fact blood.
and it could possibly still happen.
in the original trial.
Just Kira Rami hasn't got back with me yet. I've got back with her on it, but she hasn't got back with me on it with details.
Probably carelessly done.
She has some very complicated characters, but they're fun to do, but they are complicated.
A fair analysis of the bring together.
I don't know. I did on one of my PFPs was a very complicated
Nightgown had not been
uh,
properly tested.
one. I did here is the last one,
And after serving
which isn't
9
posted
years,
up anywhere yet.
Susie
So,
Mowbray was released from jail.
but it's a very
Not inside a prison. This is free.
complicated
But she would have to face a new trial. And
character.
prosecutors remain confident that the evidence used to convict her of the
I always
first
get
crime was
asked if I do
better
other
once
stuff
again.
besides art of wolves and canines. I do. It's just I prefer drawing what I do. It's just like some people like doing
But her defense attorney
human-based
said it was
artwork all the
Mowbray
time,
killed
or
himself, and that key evidence proving their case
landscape
was
paintings all the time. I mean, it's just my
The t-shirt
go-to.
Bill was
I can
wearing
do
when he
other
was shot had been
things. That's
torn
just the
apart
point.
by
I
shells
can
and
draw
bullets.
other things. It's just I don't
And the
always
blanket next to his body,
feel the need to
which
do
would
it.
absorb large amounts of blood spatter, had been lost
Which my
in
role play
shellfish.
partner has given me a reason to kind of
Susie Mowbray's
draw
retrial
anime
in
a little bit
January of
again.
1998 was perhaps the biggest
So,
media event in the area
she
since
gets some
People
artworks
lined
from
up
our
for
scenes
hours
that
to
I
get a
like.
seat
I
in
don't
court.
draw all of
Susan
them. Of
Small
course,
watched
my
nationwide on Court TV. Finally, it
not the
appeared
best human artist in the world. Sometimes I really fight with it and I get irritated to the point where I just say hell with it.
Bill Mowbray killed
A
himself,
lot of times.
or was he the victim of a cold-blooded
And a lot of times it's not even the bodies I have issues with, it's the faces.
The main bone of contention in the retrial of Susie Mowbray centered on a simple issue. Bill
I find
Mowbray
that the
had been
human
shot with
face is kind of a
high-powered
difficult
gun at
creature to
point-blank range.
draw.
Whoever shot him would have been spattered with blood.
So my humans always look a little strange when I draw them.
The only hand he could have used to shoot himself
Now I have done
was
some
no
portrait work in the
gunshot
past that has
record,
looked
and was
pretty
virtually free
decently
of
good.
blood.
and like the people they were supposed to be.
As the only other suspect.
So I know I can pull it off. It just, I have a lot of, I fight with it a lot. I'll just say that. That pretty much will cover it because I'm just not a human artist. I know a lot of people like drawing people and humans and stuff like that. And I used to draw them a lot back in high school, a lot more than I do now. No lie, and I actually wasn't too bad. I've never been super with human artwork. I'm still I like the pose, but I'm still just think it has a lot of issues with it. I blame that the image I loosely referenced just wasn't clean enough. But I'm also not drawing a realistic wolf either, so it doesn't matter because it's out of my head. And I know wolf and canine anatomy enough. I can stylize and make it anything in any way I want. So it doesn't matter. Not one of these people I have to study the anatomy before I switch and twist it. I'm erasing a lot because I can't get precise lines. This is my problem with a mechanical pencil, and I know other people don't have this problem because they draw with them a lot, so they're used to them. But my problem with the mechanical pencil is it doubles my lines, or it won't stay on track, and it makes me jank lines and stuff. And that's why I don't like mechanical pencils, because they have always done that to me. I've never really been able to do good precision art. You give me a regular old wooden number 2 and I can fucking slam lines like you can't believe. But not with these guys. I have this just to sketch in my little pocket sketchbook that I take out on the road with me. It's a little tiny thing. It's cheap. I think my mom paid like $2 for it. So I take it out on the road and do artwork with it because I learned not to take my good art supplies out on the road with me. And the reason I've learned not to do this is because I had some Prisma markers. Yes, I had Prisma markers. I don't have them no more. And this is why. And this is a fun little story time here. And this is why we don't take your high-end art supplies out on the road with you. I was not driving the day I was out. That day when I was out, I was a passenger, which I am, by the way, not a very good passenger because I get motion sick and I can't be a passenger. But I was made to be one that day. So I was trying to keep from being sick, so I was playing with my art supplies to keep my mind off being sick. So we stopped at a gas station so I could use the bathroom and all. My partner's super chatty. You can't get a word in edgewise with him that day. I don't work with that guy all the time, just once in a blue moon. But he's very chatty. You can't get a word in edgewise with him. He's one of those people. And I guess I forgot to put my Prisma markers in the seat of the truck we were in. And lost them in downtown Charleston. My boss was good enough to go back to the gas station we had been at to see if she could find them. And she didn't have to do this because I kind of figured they would be gone by this time. She went back to check and somebody had already grabbed them, which I already knew that. And she told me, she said I couldn't find them. They were gone. And I was just like, well, crap. So I tell my mom, and she's like, well, you should know better than to take your art supplies like that out on the road with you. Blah, 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 blah. It's your fault that you lost your markers. You have nobody to blame but yourself, which I wasn't blaming anybody. I knew it was my fault because I was sidetracked by the chatty partner I was with that day. And probably so addled because sometimes he goes on very long rant and tangents over absolutely nothing I have no clue about and gets outraged. But
She is
And that's probably what happened. And I forgot my markers were on my lap and they just went in the parking lot. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And, but they were never seen again. I only have one of them left. And but my mom ended up buying me for Easter Ohuhu markers. So I don't take them on the road with me. I leave them at home. And stuff. Which I actually like the Ohuhu markers pretty good. I love them because I can use them with all kinds of stuff. And while they're not a Copic marker, they're pretty close. They do pretty good. Like, I'm happy with what they do. And I guess that's all that matters. But I've heard good reviews on them, too. And that just seemed a little chunky to me. And so I asked Mom to get them for me. It looks a lot better. And so she did. And I loved them. I got my Sakura Kois for like $15 off of eBay. They were brand new, never opened, never used. And at the art stores around here, they're like $34 for the 24 set. So I think I did pretty good on it.
Susquehanna Valley in central Pennsylvania is a quiet agricultural area.
And I'm very happy with my
Lori Oker
purchase.
grew up here, not far from the mighty Susquehanna River.
Lori was a very sweet girl. She was typical 19-year-old. She had a lot of goals and aspirations for her future as far as becoming a veterinarian.
So that worked out pretty good.
Just out of high school, Lori married Robert Oker. He was almost 10 years older and worked in a warehouse. Not long afterwards, the couple had a son, Matthew. Lori took a job at a local pet store to earn extra money. She shared her love of animals with her son Matthew at every opportunity.
Yeah, but I think with any artist, they erase a butt ton before they get lines that they like. Some artists have to erase more. Like I said, I'm right on that border of having a good art block. So that's probably why I was having issues with this. Because normally I don't have problem drawing stuff. While I'm at it here, while I'm kind of just BSing and being random, because this video is kind of random. Like, I have no rhyme or reason to it. So, because I'm just doing it to do it, just because I feel like doing it this morning. This is the itty bitty tiny pocket sketchbook of death that goes out with me on the road. It is a Rodney and Dowler, I think is what it is. Yes, Dowler and Rodney sketchbook. You get them for about $2 at Walmart. It's super cheap paper. It doesn't withstand a whole lot of stuff. But I'll give a little bit of a tour. This was like my first page in it. It has just a pen sketch. This is done with different colored ballpoint pens that I did. This is just a road doodle. I do a lot of doodles in this sketchbook just because it can't withstand a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of nonsense stuff in here. And this is a spread I did of just doodles of P Lady and Beowulf, which is my sister. This I actually drew out on the road. We were parked across from this, so I actually drew this from life out on the road on my job while we were waiting on the rest of the crew to get there. That's how I felt that day. I had absolutely no clue what the heck was going on. This is just a watercolor ballpoint pen doodle. Again, I used a Dowler and Rodney watercolor set, which isn't very good. Just a pencil sketch. Pencil sketch done from life of a goose that I saw while I was out on the job. I was using my boss's office supplies to create artwork with. Not a very good looking human, but just keep in mind some of this stuff is drawn like at 4 a.m. in the morning. Using my boss's office supplies to create artwork. I killed her blue highlighter. This was a ballpoint pen, Ohuhu marker, piece I did of Sesshomaru, I believe, out on the road. I just wanted to do his eyes because I think they're cool. This was done from a photo off of Sketchy. This was an abomination that it wasn't working out, so I just didn't touch it no more. I was trying to use brush chip watercolor brush pens on this paper, and it just, you could hear it inwardly cringing as if saying, stop, don't touch me. And it just did not do what I wanted it to do. Highlighter, Office Supply, Roddy of Big Doggy there. He's saying, I'm a good boy. Of course you're a good boy. This one I digitally painted, so it's just a really light sketch. I was in my boss's office supplies again. Imagine that. I've killed a lot of her highlighters. Again, I was in my boss's office supplies. I did this one out on the road with a marker, watercolor, and a white Jelly Roll pen. Markers. Did that out on the road on a job site. This is another mixed media piece, watercolor, inks. I don't think I used marker on it. Color pencil. Another sketch of Dwayne and P Lady. This is a skull rose, which you can't really tell because the Ohuhu marker blended in. This was done with Ohuhu markers out on the road of Absinthe, My Fallen Angel, and Foxy. Sashomaru in dog form using office supplies and ballpoint pen. Watercolor ballpoint pen piece of a coyote puppy I seen one morning out on the road. This is a bad drawing. We can't show it because it's got porn in it. This one I did one morning at 4 a.m. sitting in the truck, sketching, listening to music, which I actually made a video to this with me working on this one. This is my role play partner's character. She's a little bit sassy. This is T-Lady, resting bitch face, and some little pictures of her in her wolf form. This is my midway of the tiny sketchbook. I was like so happy. This is an art piece fight of one of Kirarami's characters I did in watercolor and ballpoint pen with white gel pen. This one I did on the job site on lunch break with watercolor and ballpoint. A little bit of Crayola color pencil. This one, I was mad when I drew this. I was sitting in my work truck early in the a.m. and drew this of P Lady, Dwayne, and Foxy. This one isn't posted up yet, but I'll go ahead and show it. It's not posted on any of the galleries yet. It's just a watercolor and ballpoint pen of a sad P Lady. And then this is one I did, I think last Wednesday on lunch break, where I'm just sitting here smirking like an ass. Because I am. And that's all of the artwork in that little sketchbook so far. Takes me forever to finish the little tiny pocket sketchbooks because I hate them. But my mother wanted to give me that one, so I allowed it. Because it's my mommy. But getting back to this piece that you all are watching and wanting to see, I just wanted to show you some of my stuff that I do out on the road. I know I post a lot of it online, but there's some things on there that you all, like the porn one, y'all can't see. That one is actually up on Fur Affinity and DeviantArt if you want to go look at it. I would get demonetized for having that on my YouTube channel. So I can't really show that. I do not safe for work art. And I am commissionable for it. So don't think you just have to do order clean and gore artwork off of me, because I do Z-Parns too. I used to be strictly a not safe for work artist, and that's all I would draw was that and heavy gore. So I mean, if you're looking for something like that, I can do it too. I mean, I'm pretty well rounded as an artist. It's not much I can't do, and if I can't do it, I'll tell you. But I'll always try to do it before I say I can't do it, if that makes any sense.
first glance, the images looked unimportant. They showed a man making a bank transaction. But in the background, out of focus, there appeared to be an automobile near Lori's car with an unidentified person standing nearby.
Deeper into the parking lot was a scene that was captured on his video. The scene was a little blurry.
My role play partner is so sassy. I love her to death.
The images looked promising, but were not clear enough for any kind of analysis. So prosecutors asked both the Pennsylvania State Police Laboratory and the FBI for help, but neither one could improve the photographs. With nowhere else to turn, the FBI suggested they ask NASA for help. NASA had been using sophisticated digital photo enhancement technology to improve images from space. NASA referred the case to research scientist Alan Tietjen of the Ballistic Missile Defense Organization. Tietjen used the
I'm pretty sure I
technique similar to
typo.
the
Yep,
one
I always
used
typo.
to
I hate
determine the cause
friggin'
of the Challenger
autocorrect.
explosion in 1986.
I think my phone just likes to be a douchebag. My mommy has texted me. I think somebody has hacked me on Facebook. Keeps kicking me out of the messenger.
When the images are put into the computer, they are broken down into thousands of pixels.
Each of these pixels are converted into a number representing how bright that dot is. In this particular case, the data is black and white video. So the pixel represents simply different shades between total black and full white.
Digital enhancement can also remove blurring in an image.
And I also have received, I'm going to be receiving something pretty cool. I told you I had an Australian friend that's way across the pond. And that I'm the only person in the U.S. that actually owns one of her horse paintings. And she does very wonderful horse paintings. She does not have a YouTube channel, but it's Tahani S Artwork on Facebook page. And she used to make the patch ponies, which they were like the Raggedy Ann dolls, but only ponies. I have two of her ones that are done out of cloth, like, like a plush toy that she did when she first started making them. But now she's revamped them and has made what she called the patchwork ponies now into art dolls. And so I have two of the last of the original patchwork ponies that she ever did that she sent to me that are the plushies. But she has made me a blue Appaloosa, blue roan Appaloosa original art doll. And she just started making art dolls. And she's done a few preliminary ones. And she showed me a picture of the one that she made to send to me. And I can't wait to see his little face in person. He's so pretty. And she made him to go with the painting I bought off of her about like 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago. And yes, I paid full price for the painting. I did. I paid her because this thing's huge. And I had to pay extra because it had to come from Australia. It was a stretched canvas that had to be removed off of the frame. So I'm going to have it restretched, which I haven't got it restretched because I am afraid to do it because I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know anybody here locally that could do it. It's an original. It's absolutely, it's breathtaking. It's a beautiful piece. I recommend checking her artwork out. Little lady always has paintings up for sale, and she's starting to do the little art dolls now, and she's super talented. She became a mommy about a year ago, I think, and she so purchasing her artwork and stuff like that really helps her out where she's a new mom and stuff. And her artwork is just fantastic. Like, I'm not talking her up or nothing, but her horse art is very different from any I've ever seen. And it's just something about it that just, while it's a style that's so different that, you know, it's like not a realistic style, but it's not a whimsical style. It's hard to describe it, but I really love the feel and flow of her pieces, and they're so just flattering to the horse. And I really, if you're an equestrian lover and you really love horse art and whimsical looking scenes and just fantastically wonderful looking horses, I would definitely give that gal a look into. She's a super, super sweet lady to do business with. She's super nice. She'll work with you a little bit as much as she can. But she doesn't paint small paintings. That's one thing. Her artwork is not small. It's large scale stuff. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. Some of her stuff is like, you know, some of her paintings, the cheapest, some of them are like $250. But that $250 painting's probably past almost to your chest standing. So, I mean, you know, it's a lot of time. And she does not go easy on the paint. She slathers that stuff on there. Like, she has thick coats and has texture to it. I mean, you get what you're paying for. Her artwork's great. Go check her out. Like, and now everybody's starting to message me. But yeah, I'd definitely give her a look into and stuff.
In my opinion, that's why he used that vehicle and not his own to abduct Ford.
With this evidence in hand, police arrested Robert Walker for the murder of his estranged wife.
I arrested Robert Walker. He said, "You got to be kidding me."
What the worst part of it to me, other than the fact that she died, was when we were told that he had thrown her body in a dump. There's no reason for someone like Ford to wind up in a dump.
Prosecutors believe the surveillance photographs supported their theory that Robert abducted Lori in the mall parking lot. To convince a jury, prosecutors needed to prove that the automobile in the pictures was
I can't talk and type at the same time. If I wonder why I'm getting silence, because I'm answering people back on here. I am going to be having one commission. It's probably going to be coming in. So
and took photographs from the same
I just, when people commission me, sometimes it's
but this time the background was in focus.
I have to get the details straight because some people don't go and read my commission information, which is important. It's important to read every bit of that. That way there's no misunderstanding. Because I've had a lot of people have misunderstanding on my commissions and my policy because they don't read through the entirety of it. So if you're going to commission me, please read my commission information. I took the time to write it out and give you all a pretty good, decent idea of how things will go when you commission and do business with me. Please have courtesy enough to read everything and make sure you understand it. And if you don't, ask me questions. I don't have a problem answering questions. I'm very straightforward, to the point. I don't mind helping you if you're having an issue understanding something in the details and stuff. It doesn't bother me a bit to help you understand what it's talking about or what it's about or what it's for. Some people get amino coins mixed up with, people get commission mixed up with request. So when they realize that they commission a traditional piece, they don't understand. They got to pay actual money for that. I don't do amino coins for traditional pieces. You have to pay Zcash. It's just the way it is. It's PayPal. It even says in my commission information, if you are commissioning traditional pieces, you must pay via PayPal. I don't take amino coins for traditional media. It uses my high-end art supplies that I use to create it, so it's going to cost you actual cash. The digital stuff, is what I do for amino coins, which is, the PFP or avatar images, as they used to be called back in my day. No, those are amino coins. Those are 100 amino coins, which I get pretty much like $1 an image, and I spend 3 hours 3 hours on the image when I do them. So I short myself quite a bit, but the amino coins is just what I use extra and stuff, and I use them for my for contests and stuff like that too, and to pay for my account on there and stuff, so I don't have to pay for it out of my bank account. So that's why I do the amino coin commission, so I can pay for my subscription and sometimes host cash prizes or amino coin prizes on my amino that I own. So that's why I do that.
It was an ironic twist, given Lori's lifelong love of animals.
I remember Lori as being a very nice person. Just all around nice. She was nice to animals. She was nice to people. And
I swear, if typing was...
absolutely loved her son.
If I had a gun pointed to my head and was told to type, I'd probably typo.
First-degree murder and kidnapping, and was sentenced to death. On appeal, the sentence was reduced to life in prison without parole. NASA's help was an important forensic breakthrough, since it was one of the first times a crime scene photo had undergone digital video enhancement.
The enhancement of the
Trying to be descriptive too, but it's just not really working for me because I keep having a damn brain fart.
This is a case that set a trend for prosecutors, certainly throughout Pennsylvania. I think there was an awakening, a scientific awakening on the part of police, on the part of prosecutors. They realized
Yeah, I finished a really good art piece last night, but it will be posted up whenever. Sorry, I keep switching back and forth on my phone, and I'm not like doing artwork on here. So I'm getting blown up. I'm probably going to have to end the video here pretty soon because of people blowing my phone up. Which I'm surprised that one off of Wolf Amino hasn't got back with me yet. Which I forget it's Labor Day, so some people may not be that active today. Because we're with a state job and stuff, we ain't got to work today. We off. But I have other things I got to do today too, besides sit and do YouTube videos. Just wanted to do a live one because I haven't done one in a while. My thing is with the, I know I just went over that and then I'm just like erasing it. My thing is with the, with this thing, I can get the lines way too dark and then I have to erase and then go over and do my furring and stuff like that, where I could just do that automatically with the Ticonderoga. It's like I said, I'm not used to using mechanical pencils. Me and them don't really get along too well. This one's one from the dollar store, so I think it has a harsher lead than the one I was using. I'm out of 7 millimeter lead or whatever the heck that is. I think this one is no, this is 7. Yeah, this is 7. This is the same. Maybe the other pencil was just better or something. Because I have one that I've had since high school, and it seems to be a pretty good mechanical pencil for sketching, but it has the same lead as this one does. But maybe it's where these pencils are kind of cheap. I'm bad to get some of my stuff at like the dollar store. Don't judge me. Don't hate me. But I prove you can do stuff with cheap art supplies. Expensive stuff is nice, but not all of us can afford it. And it's always good when you can find deals on eBay. eBay's where I find all my good deals at. I love eBay. I'm so happy I got my Koi watercolor set from there for $15. I'd much rather pay $15 than $34 for watercolors. It's like I told Mom, and she's like, "Ah, you did good. Dang straight I did good." Commission money actually bought my koi set, so I was over the moon about it. See, that's what commissions do. They help me be able to afford art supplies to create y'all's artwork with. Because a lot of times, I ain't got the extra cash to go buy the nice high-end stuff, so I'll buy Crayola or whatever I can afford. As long as I can create my artwork with it, I'm not going to be picky. But when I'm doing client work, I don't like using cheap stuff because it doesn't look professional to hand somebody something done with low-grade supplies. It doesn't look good on you, even if you can pull it off and make it look amazing. It just makes you look as cheap, I think. So I always like using good quality things when I do client work. What I use on my own personal artwork is neither here nor there, because I can use cheap stuff or I can use the high end. Sometimes I use the high end. Personal piece I did last night, I used my high end art supplies on it. But I'm trying to learn and get the hang of my koi watercolors, so that means I'm going to have to play with them in order to learn with them. And so the only way that I'm going to be able to learn and get better with them is to use them. So I see a major improvement from the fox I used, which was heavily pigmented and it looked like I used gouache instead of watercolor, because I just layered that poop on there way too thick. And it didn't even look like watercolor. It looked like I literally took gouache and painted on the Bristol paper. But it doesn't look bad. It does not look bad. It looks good, but you can just tell that I didn't do the watercolor properly. But it's hard to do on Bristol paper because it's not made for watercolors. Which I actually got some watercolor paper from, it's a Canson watercolor set paper. But my problem is I have to let the watercolor dry all the way before I do my washes and layering on it, because if I don't, it separates from the paper, which isn't a good thing, I've heard, for watercolor paper. So, but I'm not going to go spend an arm and two legs for expensive stuff just yet when it comes to paper. Like to be able to kind of practice and learn a little bit. I can make the Canson paper work for me. It's just I have to learn the watercolors. I see people sit and do them and they look amazing when other people and other artists do them, and I'm just like, I want mine to look like that. And then when I get down and sit with my paper and I start putting it on there and nothing's turning out right, I get so discouraged. It's just like, why does mine look like caca? But I've also learned with a lot of watercolor artists that keep things simplistic. And me, not so much. I'm always about the detail, but I watch one watercolor artist from Norway that does really detailed watercolor paintings, and I am in love with her art. I think her name's Dina. Can't remember her last name, but she is the artist who's working on the Snowcat prints, which she has that Kickstarter up. And I've watched her do a lot of character design and like scene ideas and stuff for that. So I actually backed that Kickstarter because it's a graphic novel. And the artwork is so cute and so whimsical, and the characters are so colorful and so nice. And the story itself, even though it seems to be a pretty simple, straightforward story, sounds like it's a really good, solid story, one that you could read over and over again and enjoy. And the graphic novel for this one that she's doing is hardback instead of paperback. So where her other one I think she did was paperback and not as many pages. This one is hardback, I think, with 120 pages or something like that in it. That's full color artwork and with the story and stuff. So that is going to be cool. I can't wait. Which I got the cheapest tier off the Kickstarter because I couldn't afford the one that had all the cool goodies you could get with it. Can't afford that. I wanted to get one of the higher tiers, but I just can't afford it. It was kind of where I'm in the States. It's kind of was a little bit pricey just for the low tier, so I just decided to go with that. But I thought it was pretty cool. Because I have watched a lot of the concept art be done for it on her YouTube channel and stuff like that, and the character design and the loose ideas for the story itself. So it just really seemed interesting and something that I would enjoy reading, because sometimes I like and enjoy reading stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be gore and violence and crazy stuff like that. Even though that's what I read a lot of. Oh my god, I've lost my tiny eraser. And stuff. But I figured that would be something pretty cool because it was made by an artist who spent a lot of time creating something for the public to enjoy. And I love supporting other artists when I'm able to do it. I'm just not always able to do that. And some of them I could never afford just because even though I know their prices are fair and reasonable for the work that they do, it's just, it's out of what I would ever spend. Personally, if I had financially was a lot better off than what I am, then it would probably be different. But because then I would definitely support my more pricey artists whose artwork I really do like as well. But there's a lot of cheaper artists out there who do really good art and are trying to get recognized and stuff. So I find commissioning them a lot more satisfying because they do just as good as the expensive artists sometimes better. I did a commission off of Poofle here recently, and I love Poofle's work. She's a young artist. She likes to do canines and stuff. And I supported her on a commission that was very fairly priced. It was digital. And she was very fair with her price. And so I used a little bit of commission money and I commissioned her. So, and I got a pretty cool piece of artwork of me and my best friend. So it was pretty cool. She was saving up to get something, I think. So, and I know what it's like to have to save up and get stuff. So, I'm still debating on giving away my Wacom bamboo tablet. It's a USB tablet. I know I talked about this in the past, that I was thinking about getting rid of it and the Intuos 3 Wacom tablet I have. They're both USB tablets. Just the Intuos is a bigger one, and that one would have to cost some money, because I would not just give that away. Because I paid for it quite a bit for it when I bought it. My thing is, though, I need an on-screen graphics tablets, like a Cintiq or one of the Huion ones, that you can actually draw on the screen of it. And that's something that I could greatly use. Because I can't look at the computer screen and draw on the USB tablets. That's my problem I have with them, I have learned. I can do decent stuff with them, but I feel like I can't pull good lines where I'm not watching my hand do it. It's just I can't. I don't know. I just can't ever get my line work to look good. And it makes me very mad. I would probably keep my Intuos as a backup tablet in case I needed it because I know people would not want to pay what I would put on it. But my Wacom Bamboo, which is heavily used little tablet, and it does have like I'm saying it's heavily used. As in, you can see it does have scratches on the surface, but it doesn't affect its usability. It is a really old one that I've had for years. It was my first graphics tablet I ever had, and it probably needs a new nib on the end of it, which I used to have extra ones, but I think I lost them when I moved because I had that tablet before I moved to the house I live in now. So I think I lost the nibs on the move. But you can get replacement nibs, I do believe, for the Bamboo tablets. But I'm thinking about just giving it away as just a giveaway, free to a good home type deal. Because I seriously don't use it. But now it's small. It's like maybe the size of the sketchbook. Maybe. It might actually be a little smaller. But it's super tiny. Its little stylus goes in the side. And so it's a cute little tablet. Actually, I can find it here and show you before I answer back my message here. Ouch. It's always better to show what I'm talking about, I guess. Oops, I've lost the pen. It was the pen. It's in the laptop case. There we go. I found it. This is it. Yeah, it's about the size of that. But that's it. Right there. It's a nice little tablet. It's got a little bit of, I mean, like you can tell this little thing's used, but it's in good shape. I'd be willing to give it away to somebody for free. It still works perfectly too. So there's that because I have that real big one. I just don't really use that one anymore. It's like I said, I used it for years and years and years and years, and now I don't use it. So it's sitting in a laptop case, not getting used or having any functionality, and I hardly touch it anymore. I think in the last 2 or 3 years, I've probably touched it one time. So it's just sitting in my laptop bag, just sitting there chilling like a villain. So I really don't use it anymore. I used to have the original box to it somewhere, but I think it got lost when I moved. Because I moved several times while I've had that tablet. So, crap gets lost. But yeah, that one I would be willing maybe to rehome to somebody who's maybe starting out in the digital art or something like that. He's wanting a good USB tablet because that little thing works it works great. Oh my gosh, why am I keep having issues? I'm just having all kinds of issues this morning. I'm like the typo Nazi. Somebody was under saying my koi watercolors are bright. Cha. They is bright. I have forensic files sitting there on hold because it was like being way too loud in my video. Netflix doesn't know what volume control is on those shows. This thing doesn't make a whole lot of rhyme or reason, but you know what? I sometimes have issues with feed. Sometimes. But then again, I remember there's a way to figure that out and kind of get them to look a little right. So it just requires some line erasing. I feel like it's all we've done all through this like drawing is erase excessively and just excessively erase. And I usually don't erase that much. Usually when I do art, it's pretty solid. But if anybody would be interested in the Wacom tablet, like the bamboo tablet there that I showed, you guys can get a hold of me on Amino. I would actually say that that's probably better to get a hold of me at than on YouTube. You can get a hold of me on any of the Aminos. I'm on Drawing Amino, Art Amino, Wolf Amino, Wolf and Canine Amino. I'm on Inuyasha Amino, Utopia, Fantasy Amino. I'm on a lot of Aminos. Just look for P Lady Wolf. That's me. Look for Little Black Wolf. That'd be me. And PM me. Don't put it on my wall. Don't put it on my feed or nothing like that. PM me. Like private message me about it if you're interested or would like it. And because it would actually require you to give me an address. That way I could ship it to you. I don't know if I would ship it overseas, but I'll ship it anywhere in the United States. Since I'm offering it for free, I don't think I'll do it internationally. So if you're, it will be for the States only. So if you live in the U.S., anywhere in the U.S., the heck on my stupid phone. So if you live anywhere in the U.S., I'll ship it to you. But if you're overseas across the pond, probably won't be doable. Because certain things it costs quite a bit to send. So, but that offers like for the state side, because like I said, if it can go to somebody who'll use it, I'd rather it do that than sit in the bag and never be used at all. And you can get the bamboo tablets now, I think for like $10 or $20 off eBay, brand new. So free is probably a pretty good offer. That way, if you're like a beginning artist or a beginner artist and you don't have the money to buy something like that, you know, even the reason it's free is because it's an older model and it's been heavily used. So it does have a lot of wear and tear on it. But like I said, and you see in the video, it still looks nice. I take care of my stuff because I have to pay for it myself. And when you have to pay for something yourself, you take better care of it than if it was given to you by somebody else or something like that. And I was always taught, if you take care of stuff, it'll last you forever. That little tablet has done a lot of artwork. It may not have done the best artwork, but it has done a lot of artwork. It hasn't done the best artwork because the person using it can't really watch a computer screen and draw without looking at their hand. So it has nothing to do with the tablet. It's just operator person couldn't function correctly with it. So I just don't see how people can use one of the USB tablets without and look at the computer screen and draw, because I can't. I have tried and I can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't know how people do it. Cause I can't seem to get the hang of it. I've tried and tried. So I'm figuring my best shot's probably to get me a Huion or a Cintiq one if I want to be serious about digital art, which I haven't decided if I want to be semi-serious about digital art or not. I'm pretty much a traditional based artist, though for some things I do digital artwork because it looks nicer and better for the design. So it would probably do good to have a good graphics tablet to be able to do those kind of artwork and stuff like that for those few things. This isn't really flowy for some reason. I'm not liking how that looks. It just looks really stiff and strange. But yeah, it's a good. I use the Chromebook, but after a while where I have to reach over the keyboard and stuff like that, the Chromebook just gets to where it is very hard for me to use with my finger and stuff. So I do a lot of the digital art y'all see on my phone with my finger. Which is a 6S Plus. And I use Ibis on there. So I do a lot of digital art on the phone because I can draw on the screen the way I'm comfortable with doing. I can do it on the Chromebook and it's a little comfortable for me, but it's uncomfortable where I have to reach over the keyboard and stuff, where it's a laptop. And my arm gets tired doing that. I think I got my initial sketch. I think I'm going to end it there for right now. May revisit this later when I have figured out what I'm actually going to do with it, since it's sketched. I just wanted to draw something, do a sketch from start to finish, and that's what I did. So there you go. It might show up later on as turned into something totally different. It's hard to say. But there you go, and I do appreciate everybody who joined me this morning, listen to me ramble, get quiet, and just sit here and erase and totally forget my idea that I was doing, and just have a moment and stuff. This may just stay a sketch, and I may do nothing more with it. It might be just the exercise I do just for the video. So, thank you for joining me today. You guys have a good evening, a good day, good morning, whatever it is where you're at.